What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we got round two with Skindred. We are here with Benji and Arya. Great to be able to talk with you. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us on a Monday morning.
Yep, happy Monday.
Do it.
Hey, you know what? The weekend may be over, but the party continues on when you have Skindred on, right?
Amen, brother. Amen. You know the score.
Yep.
I'm glad you know that.
Oh, absolutely. The Roots are rocking riots tonight on Monday night. So, but
Yeah, man.
it's so awesome to have you here. Smile is absolutely an awesome album. I had the privilege of listening to it. It made for an excellent commute on the way into work today when you got to take 3 trains.
Brilliant.
Was this meant to be kind of like a continuation of Big Things in a way, or being that, a lot of time has passed, this is almost kind of like new territory for Skindred in a way?
I don't think the two are related. I think they're just it's just the songs we were writing. I don't think there was a conscious decision. I don't think we've ever done records where it's like they're linked to each other. They've always stood on their own.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Was there at all sort of like a preconceived vision behind Smile at all, or was it a very like roll with the dice songwriting process?
I think it was a roll with the dice and see what we all dig. I mean, the thing about Smile is it's the only record that we've had a longer time to write. There was no like, we need this done now for the label. And I think having that time to just develop the album has been very good for us. I really think that,
Yeah,
I agree. There's no pressure, really. That was the thing. I think because of COVID, it took that pressure away. I mean, a lot of bands punished themselves during that time, have to get content, have to get things moving. And we took the opposite sort of stance with let's just use the time. We don't know how long it is just to write songs and just, see what we've got, really. And I think having that opportunity we've never had before. No one ever had it. We didn't punish ourselves. I think that was the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we let it naturally take its course in the songwriting and stuff we didn't like. The good thing about it, we had no label breathing down our neck, so we could go back and say, okay, let's look at this in a different way. Let's try this different. Let's try some different melodies, different vocals. Whereas, like I said, normally you get like, right, you got 6 months to write this record. Now it's got to be released. So we basically took the opportunity that we had in COVID to write the best album that we could since our first album, so that was it.
I've noticed because this was like a 5-year gap between albums, and that hasn't really happened since Babylon and Roots Rock Riot in a way. So
yeah.
I was wondering if maybe like there was some sort of like revisiting the earlier stuff, especially because Babylon was 20 years old last year. So
well, yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Not to make you all feel old.
No, it's cool. I mean, I know what it's beautiful to be writing with the same guys in the same band. That's something to actual like embrace and enjoy,
Absolutely.
I remember like when in between Babylon and Roots Rock, it did feel like a long time, but I feel like this hasn't felt, for me, it hasn't felt like a long time. I feel like years pass quicker, and that's so cliche and contrived to say, but 5 years has just gone like that pretty much to me.
Yeah.
When we were talking Babylon, it was like, when's this fucking record? Come on. It was like there was this thing. Now it's just like, just enjoy, use the time, relax, not...
Yeah.
I use the word punish us. I don't mean it like that.
No pressure. The pressure is not on,
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Well, I almost feel like that was almost kind of like the purpose or maybe even the message or really just what made Skindred stand out is that you guys are the least pressuring metal band to listen to, because I'll never forget, I saw, I forgot what festival you guys were playing, but you were playing some sort of festival in Europe. And I saw like this dancing in the pit that was without a doubt one of the coolest mosh pit things. It was just the ultimate don't give a fuck attitude. And that to me is what Skindred is. Yeah,
I mean, I think when you make your own rules, when you make your own path through this jungle called rock and roll, you're not stuck to no rules, and that's why I think with Skindred, that's why we're not stuck to rules. When it came to the record, we did what we wanted to. We did whatever felt right on the record. The songs you got, they're the ones that basically gel together,
Yeah, and when you
and that's been something that Skindred's done from day one. We've never had what's the word I'm looking for? We've never had peers in this game. We've had people who sort of touch what we do, but we stand alone, and I know that for sure.
Absolutely, you stand alone, and I mean it in a good way because people don't forget who you are. But it's funny too because I feel like Skindred has the best of both worlds, where you do have a very experimental sound, where you could tell what will be off of Kill the Power or what will be off of Shark Bites or Big Tings, etc. But at the same time, you do have a signature sound. I could tell that it's Benji's voice. And Arya, you definitely have your own signature rhythm, you know, being the drummer, the most important member of the band, as
That's right, baby. That's right.
Give you that $5 later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to mention.
Yeah.
We may or may not have been talking before you came on, Benji. But,
Yeah.
Yes,
I bet you were.
but you also do have a signature sound in a way. So, like, is there a part of all of you that almost has to stick with you with the making of every album? Benji, you have a voice like no other. Arya, you have a drumming pattern like no other. So,
I mean, I feel like it's fairly natural. I feel like when Benj sings, it's the gel for whatever we're doing, right? I mean, you can go off piste every now and again, but it's the four of us with how we play and we all look at our instruments. And with Benj's voice, I think it gives us, to be honest, a lot of freedom as musicians to try different kinds of things, because we know the gel is either going to be in the rhythm or the voice, as you say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's that. I keep going back to the creative freedom. I don't think we really, it's not like every other band where, okay, well, you know, we do one thing and we stay in one lane, and you're going to get an album that's going to be all one kind of music or one kind of heavy style. It's sort of, we're able to interweave, and I think that's a very natural thing, not a contrived, you know, it's just the way we play our instruments.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Benji, and I talked a lot about lyrics last time we spoke and whatnot, but, you know, we are all humans, and, you know, I've always said Skindred always brings the party and always, you know, knows how to, you know, not give a fuck, which I think is what makes Skindred. But at the same time, you know, we are all humans, and we all have, you know, our own trials and tribulations and obstacles we have to overcome. And being a vocalist, you have this outlet. Has Skindred also been a means of, like, overcoming either hardships, or have you wrote lyrics that maybe are on a more personal level?
I think, you know what, you got to play the game with the cards you've been dealt, you know, and I think that, well, as I definitely, you know, what they say, like, you got to sing from your own hymn book, you know, and I think even the lyrics that I've written in my own life, from my own struggles, they've helped me, you know, and it's good to know that I see a lot of people out there who send me messages about how much the songs have helped them and got them through dark times. And I think if you can do that, if you can help somebody with the message in your music, I think that's amazing. You know, I really do.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, because Skindred also breaks the stereotypes where metal is like, you know, angry form of music all the time, but I mean, Skindred is anything but. Even though I will admit that, like, you know, because even when you go in, you kind of fool people. Like, Roots Rock Riot, I think, is one of the best songs in the whole, like, you know, early 2000s metal sound in a way. And, like, you know, you kick in with that, people think it's going to be a brutal death metal song, and then we kick in, and it's just an absolute groove piece.
Yeah, I think, I don't think there's any, like I said, you know what, we love all sorts of bands, you know, from Pantera to Slayer and all the way up to Bring Me the Horizon. And I think what you got to do is lower people into a self-sense of security and then smack them in the face. That's what we like to do.
And then dance afterwards.
Yeah, and then dance with a bloody nose. Why not?
Hey,
yeah, man.
I've seen stranger things in the mosh pit, so.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think your lyrics on this record, if I'm honest, are probably some of my most favourite things you've done.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some really strong statements there, and really, you know, we talked about this personally. Like, if at the beginning of the album you've got Our Religion, at the end of the album you've got Unstoppable, and Benj is singing about being in Skindred. Both of those tracks, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
And that harks back to the Nobody, like you were talking about the original sort of sound lyrically, talking about Our Religion. It's about all of us included. Music's our religion, Skindred's our religion, everyone's welcome. And at the end of the record, you've got Unstoppable, which is teeing up the next journey for Skindred and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like you said, it's bookending the album, you know? I mean, it's like I draw on a lot of, like, I look at myself as an MC. I mean, I look at Skindred as like a crazy heavy metal reggae sound system, you know? And I look at myself as an MC, and I'm always like, being quite braggadocious in Skindred and saying that we're the best and we are the heaviest, and that's the kind of stuff that they do in the dancehall, and I like the fact that we've brought that to the heavy metal world or to the rock genre, because a lot of people they fear that kind of thing, but I don't. You see, because I coming from a dancehall culture, when you put your foot in a dancehall, you're saying we own this place, and we're bringing something new to the metal game, and I really believe that we have done over the last 20 years. We've been doing stuff that people are going, what the hell is this? But it's acceptable because we don't give a fuck.
I mean, they still say, "What the hell is this?" That's the funny thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like they're not saying
like,
that. Yeah,
Well, do you think it maybe also had something to do? And by no means, I know people, sometimes either embrace this label or despise it. But like, being that you released Babylon in 2002, and at the time, Cold Chamber just broke up. But like, there was the new metal movement still lingering. Static X was starting to take off, and there was, Linkin Park was about to conquer the world as well with their sort of hybrid elements as well. So did maybe like the movement of what was happening at the time also maybe help Skindred in a way?
I'd say the new metal thing definitely gave us something to bite into, but I don't think that's not all we were. I don't think we had a Cold Chamber or a Static X. Even though we can consider them as peers, I think what we do, it stands out a little different. I mean, drawing on that.
Defined us. That was the thing. It was. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel it defined the band. I feel like in America, it was an easy way of selling the band. It was like ragga metal, which fit into this new metal thing, and we would tour with bands that were new metal because that's what was happening. And then at the same time, we'd come back to Europe and we'd tour with Go-Go Bordello, Flogging Molly, Street Dogs, punk bands. So it was very different in the UK and Europe to how it was perceived in America.
In America,
we were going out with Korn, Disturbed, and then we'd do Warped Tour in the same country, but we'd be on the weird stage with, like I say, Gogol and all these other bands. And we fitted into that. We felt more at home with those kinds of bands. At that time, it was weird.
You've heard of that new band from Germany, Electric Callboy?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah,
they used to be an Eskimo. Remember them?
Yeah, they
used to be like an Eskimo Callboy.
Okay, they used to be called that, did they?
Yeah.
I remember them.
Yeah, and then they changed.
I remember the singer's really annoying. I remember that.
Oh really? Oh really?
No, I'm fucking around. They're good guys. We played a few shows with them, and it's good to see that they're blowing up. I didn't realize it was them.
Yeah, no, they're but I've always said that you guys and them would be one of the best tours ever.
Yeah, they just sold out their whole British tour, which is really good. I'm glad for them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they're great. They're great guys, and like I feel like they that whole party vibe is really I almost feel like it's the ultimate fuck you to anybody who's saying that there's rules in metal.
Yeah, there's no rules in metal, and if there is rules, what the fuck you doing here, man?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
the
so
classic
bad.
metal bands were singing about rules that were made to be broken, which is the irony.
Yeah.
There you go.
Of course.
There you go.
Of course. When all the rules are broken, though, where do you go from here?
You listen to Skindred.
You listen to Skindred. What do you expect? Yeah. There you go.
Fair enough. When it comes to writing the music together, do all of you kind of need to be in the same like emotional headspace when writing together, or being that you all have your individual talents and your individual experiences?
I think when we write together, it can be electrifying. It can be electrifying. But one thing, what I found easy on the last record is that being in a room together was great. That's how we started the record. But then the pandemic hit. We had stuff like Set Phases, and there was some other tracks that we had already. But I think that when someone demos something and they passes around the gang, we all know if it's going to be work for us all. Straight away, if it's going to be something that everyone's going to dig. Sometimes you got to like pitch it to the band and say, look, this is going to work because of this and because of this. And then the good thing about Skindred is that we're not scared to try something. And that's I got to say, the guys in the band go, okay, I don't dig it, but let's try it. And then we wait till it's finished, till one of the guys in the band say, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Then we go, fuck that, it's crap. Or then we go, we're going to work on this more, So I do think that we bring it to the table, fight over it, and the ones who stand in at the end gets the choice.
I do know what you were saying about everyone's headspace, because when we're in the room together, we're not all in the same headspace sometimes. Sometimes, someone's thinking about what they're about to do later on, or their personal life. And so going back to the pandemic, is like that was sort of removed because when you weren't in this sort of space, it wasn't like, right, we're at practice now for 6 hours, write a song. It was like it was happening over time. And so when you were focusing on Skindred, that's all you were doing. And so I felt that was pretty cool in a way. But, you know, I mean, I play drums. I want to play in the room with everyone, but not everyone wants to play in the room with me all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't control that. That's how, like...
It has to do with being the most important member of the band. That's why.
Pardon? What did he say?
Moving on to the next question. But when you work on a song for a long period of time, does it make it a little bit more difficult to capture that moment or maintain that initial spark of the idea?
I think working on, I think songs are like children. You can't tell them how to be born. You know, you can't say, oh, we're having a C-section here, or we're gonna have, you know, you gotta just accept what you're given. And some births are easier than others, and that's the same with all the songs on this record. Some came and like the chorus I wrote was the chorus straight away. Others, you know, we got to go back into the operation room and work on more on it. You know, in the laboratory and get it more tighter, get it more stronger. I think it's not one way that we write. You know, not at all.
When you, being that there is multiple ways that you write, when you replicate that song live, does it almost, depending on how the song was written, does that maybe change the energy on how you play it live?
I think anything that we choose to write to play live becomes the live version. It's not the album version; it's the live version, which I like, because I think if anything, if you've only listened to our records, you've not touched Skindred. You have to see Skindred live to accept what we are, to see what we are, to see what we're about. So when we say, right, we're going to play this song from the album, it's not the album version; it's the live version. And sometimes you get all the electronics that's on the album, and sometimes you don't. You know, but I know one thing: when we do play a show, and we play a list of songs, it's a journey that people go on and they're excited by, one after the other, bang, bang, bang. And it's not just the songs; it's the setups to the songs as well. It's the segues to the songs that make Skindred strong and different. You know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There's been times where maybe like a song live can almost be hindered based on like its presence in the set list. I've always said it's like I've always said it's like opening up Star Wars and you're playing like the ending theme at the very beginning, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just really think.
Oh,
go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I always find in the set list the hardest song for me, like putting my 2 cents into the band, the one that I always go like, oh, this is difficult, is the opening track. What to open the set with. It fucking bugs me out every single time. And finding the right opening song for the set, I think this time round, we've fucking nailed it. Yeah. It feels so good.
Like, I mean, now we're you know, I'll let the cat out of the bag. Now we're opening with phases, which I think is an amazing. So you get a good sound in the room and a good vibe, and everything's running smooth. It's the ultimate Skindred beginning of a set, you know?
Yeah, and that's been really nice, having the confidence to open with a new track that we're all feeling on the stage. You know, like sometimes when you go and watch a band and they do open with a new song and people are a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know, you want to come out the gates with a banger, right?
Yeah.
We're feeling like that's a banger from the crowd, which is like feeling.
The good thing about it is we're releasing this album Friday, and these songs have been around for like 5-6 months now, and people, you know, they're listening to phases like they're listening to nobody, and it's fantastic because by the time we get to actually play these songs live, they know these songs.
Yeah,
and that's been the beautiful thing about this whole experience with Smile.
Yeah,
it's just different from all the other records. A lot of the times, people are standing there going, "Oh, I don't want to hear this fucking song. What's this?" You know, but now it's like they're getting it straight away. You know, and that's a good thing, I think.
And I'd imagine, too, with every album you put out, it gets harder and harder to put a set list together, right?
It can do. But you know what? I think those songs that rock will always rock live. So I think that's the important thing, to get the journey going.
Don't they? They choose themselves, like the main... You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
And I mean, and we're not scared to try mashups. You know, we do different things in our set live. You know, you might come to our song and hear the Thong Song by... You know what I mean? You might come and hear fucking Belinda Carlisle, or you know, when we look at it like the live set, for me as an MC from back in the day, as a dancehall MC, I like to bring that into Skindred world and into the metal world. Because I think, you know, when you say put your hands in the air, people want to do that. They want to have fun. They haven't paid fucking $60 for a ticket to stand still with their fucking hands folded. They want to have a good time.
Unless
and one thing I would say is that I'm not going to be dictated by anybody. This is our band, not yours. Yeah. So we're going to do what the fuck we want. And if you don't dig it, get the fuck out. There's a door there. No one's holding you at gunpoint. This is what we do. We come first and you come second.
There you go. There you go. And the final question I wanted to ask is diving back into the past, because last year was 20 years of Babylon. And it was funny. Benji, I interviewed you in 2021, and then I remember it was 2022 was 20 years of Babylon. I was like, fuck, I should have asked about that. But now I'm asking about it. And I know, Aria, you came in the band in 2002, either when this album was being made or when this album was released. So really, what was the memories of Babylon? How did it sort of pave the way for Skindred leading into Roots Rock?
You know, I'll be honest with you, I was just very happy that we had the opportunity to start touring in America, and Mike and Aria got on board, and we went into the studio and we did the rejigging of the record, and we got some stuff that Mike and Aria did. That was when the band started for me, when we started touring the States in the early days. You know what I mean? And I just think that we were just so fortunate. We're fortunate now to be doing what we're doing, but it was a blessing that we all got together when we did, you know?
Absolutely.
For Babylon.
I think the memories from Babylon are the things we still talk about now. Like, I was doing an interview for an American magazine, and I said this to you, Benj. You were like, oh, what's one of the craziest things that's happened to the band? And it was this memory from when we did the Man Cow show in Chicago in like 2003 or 4, I can't remember the year, but we hosted it with Mr. T.
Yeah.
And we played Eye of the Tiger for Mr. T. And then he rang up Flavor Flav from Public Enemy going, you got to check this band out. And we're in this like zone. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It was
that's right.
And there are loads of little stories like that from the Babylon era that I think touring America at that time that we still talk about, you know?
Yeah.
Lots of really...
Like me wanting to go to Denny's and no one else wanted to join me?
Yeah, that's just the same now.
Oh, man. I can only imagine.
I love Denny's, man. Well, I loved Denny's at the time, but I hear it's just a homeless hangout now. Scary place.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure. I've never been there, but you gotta come to New York City and play St. Vitus and make that the ultimate club night.
Well, let me tell you something. Why don't you talk to the people that run St. Vitus and tell them to book Skindred to play?
I'm going.
You know who runs Vitus? It's Artie from Instruction.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should fucking be there. What's wrong with Artie, man? Artie's old school friend of ours, you know?
Oh, man, he's got stories like, oh my God. It's like every time I hang out with them, I'm just like, oh my God, tell me more.
Tell me more. Yeah, Artie can tell a good story. I like Artie a lot.
Yeah.
He's one of the pals from the Babylon era. There you go.
That's right.
I wish I could have been from that era, but I was finishing second. I was finishing second grade
at
the time.
You came a little later.
I was 8 years old when that album came out. So
wow, look at that.
And I'm almost.
I still feel 8 years old.
I'm almost 30 now. So.
It goes quick, so enjoy it, bro.
Yeah, but to quote the great Lemmy Kilmister, if you think you're too old to rock and roll, you probably are.
You are.
Yep, exactly. So,
right, big time.
So before we go, I want to thank you both so much for coming on to the show today. And most of all, thank you for another awesome album. Is there just anything else with Skindred, with shows coming up that you'd like to promote, or what else we can expect?
We got a new album coming out on Friday. If I'd just like to say, I don't know when this is airing, but
tonight.
If it's airing before Friday, just go to erig.com/Skindred and pre-order the album. We got some amazing vinyl. We got some amazing CDs. You know, there's a bunch of different kind of vinyl you can order. Get your pre-orders in now. I can't say it enough. And thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to come back.
It's
happening.
To America.
Please.
We'll be back next year. It's happening.
Please.
Yeah, we're coming back to America.
I've yet to pop the Skindred cherry. Now it needs to happen. So.
Oh yes, you're gonna get it, bro.
Oh hell yeah!
Get it.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, we are here with Skindred Smile coming out this Friday. Be sure to pick that up. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.